If you've been waiting for the triumphant reuniting of Matt Damon and Ben Affleck on screen again, this is probably not what you were expecting, but it's really, really good. Hey everyone, this is David Stark from Watcher Pass. I know I'm a little late to the party here, but I just saw The Last Duel last night, and it is really, really good. It's phenomenal. My quick review is it's a fantastic film. It's a good Ridley Scott kind of showpiece that shows the action side of it, but he also does a really good job with the story and the storytelling. So The Last Duel is a historical drama that's based on real events. It's based on a true story that is set in France, where you have two kind of servants of the king who are vying for both favor and power. And then one of them does a terrible, terrible thing, a horrible act. And so The Last Duel kind of tells that story, and it does it in a very interesting way. I'm going to get into that in a second. But it is a stellar movie. It is long, so strap in, get ready. It's a 2.5 hour film. So it is definitely one that if you see in theaters, you're going to get your money's worth. But it is a long event. It is a little slow in the middle. It doesn't have as much action as I was expecting from a movie called The Last Duel, but the action that's in there is really good. And the film itself is just an overall really well done film. It kind of takes you back to medieval France, and you get to see a lot of things that I think are kind of missed in a lot of period dramas. I'm gonna go into that just now. The film has an all-star cast. You've got Matt Damon as kind of the main fighter character, Jean de Carrouges. I hope I said that right. I'm not good with French, so forgive my pronunciation. You have Adam Driver as Jean de Carrouges' friend and enemy, I guess frenemy, Jacques Gris. And you have Jodie Comer as Jean's wife, Marguerite. And then also you have Ben Affleck as, I'm just going to call him Pierre because I can't pronounce his last name. He's kind of like the Duke of this area, of this region, who gives favor to some people. It was a fun role for Ben Affleck. Together, this cast just does a fantastic job, coupled with some really amazing sets, some really amazing costumes. So I'm just going to get right into the things I like. There might be some spoilers. I'm going to try not to spoil too much. It's based on a historical story, so you can you can research it if you want to know the answer, but I'm going to try not to spoil much in this review. But just be warned, there might be some. So the first thing I really loved is the storytelling. I kind of alluded to this earlier, but the storytelling, it's told in 3 parts. They call it episodes, and each episode is the same series of events from different perspectives. There are 3 main characters in this film. You've got Jean de Carrouges, Jacques Gris, and then Marguerite. And each of them has a unique view on the events that build up and then the actual deed that happens. And the deed is that Marguerite is raped by Jacques Gris. And so the important details of what that happened in their different perspectives are shown sequentially. So you have episode 1, which is Jean de Carrouges. He is a more kind of by the book, boring, but it seems like a genuinely loyal and good person, despite him being gruff around the edges and not treating his wife with as much respect as I think she probably deserves. But he is overall kind of seen as a good person, at least in the first part. Some of the later ones, he comes off a little more rough, but overall, I think he is generally a good character. And then you have Jacques Gris playing the second part. He is very ambitious. He is very smart. His version of events change a few things. It's really interesting to see kind of Jean de Carrouges' view versus Jacques Gris' view and how the subtle changes happen. You kind of have to really look for, well, you don't have to look for them that hard, but you have to kind of watch carefully because little things will change. Little events will be out of sequence a little bit, or words will be changed in conversations and things like that. And the perspective change is a very interesting one. And I really liked it. I really loved watching the film again from another perspective and seeing how the story evolved through that other perspective. And the third episode is told by Marguerite. And I think Marguerite's is probably the most accurate, and the film kind of foreshadows this by saying, each episode is titled The Truth According to, and then the person's name. And on the third episode, it's The Truth According to Marguerite. And as it's fading away, the truth is kind of highlighted and stays on screen. So you're under the impression that this is probably the most accurate one. And it does seem to be the most accurate version of the events that took place. But seeing the 3 stories back to back to back, it was an interesting experience, and it kind of keeps kind of what could be a repetitive event fresh, because you get to notice new details, little things happen, people act just slightly differently in each version. And so what could have been a death march in monotony of re-seeing things over and over again turns into this kind of almost a puzzle that you have to watch through and try to guess or try to see what changes in between each telling. And I really liked it. I really thought it was an interesting way to tell a story. Now, that being said, you do see the same general set of circumstances over and over. So it could be boring. I could see someone not enjoying that. They do speed up things. You don't see, it's not like 40 minutes, 40 minutes, 40 minutes. It's like, I think 40 minutes or maybe 50 minutes for the first telling, and then maybe more like 30 minutes as something's changed, and then maybe more like 20 minutes for the last one. So events do speed up, and they do get skipped, things that, either that person didn't know about or that just wouldn't have changed. So it's not over and over again, but you do get the same general story. The second thing I really loved are the costumes and the sets, and it's just really impressive what they were able to do. It really transports you back. I said the same thing about Green Knight. Green Knight is another film that had really fantastic costumes and sets, and this has ones that are just as elaborate, just as impressive. You get the pageantry of kind of court. You get this like the medieval armor and the intricacies of putting that on. They do a really good job of kind of highlighting just how difficult this is to put on, because every time the knights get ready, they kind of stand there as their squires, tie everything together, put their armor on, attach everything correctly. And it really shows this intricate process. And that also leads to a sense of realism, because this is also a historical story. It's based on true events. And so the fact that the sets look very accurate, the costumes look very accurate, does contribute to this overall realistic feeling in this film. The third thing I really loved is kind of the pageantry and politics. The intrigue that happened in this film is very interesting to see, because you do see some of that in the way that Jean de Carrouges and Jacques Gris interact with their superiors, both the Duke, I think he's a Duke, Pierre, played by Ben Affleck, and the King. They interact with both of them, and you see this kind of very interesting song and dance that happens as they're trying to kind of gain favor, or in some cases, not care about and trying to just speak their mind and get angry. And it's very interesting to watch. It's also kind of intriguing to see how the decision-making process happened. The Duke's decision-making process is very different from the King, and so you can see some of the influences there as well. And the other thing kind of related to this is I liked seeing how I don't know what they're called, serfs, the people that live on the land owned by both Jean de Carrouges and Jacques Gris, how they interact with them. You can tell the people that interact with Jean de Carrouges really love him. There's one scene that I really liked where he's returning from a battle, and one of the peasants, I guess, is running ahead, and he's just sprinting full speed, just barreling around corners, slipping and sliding to tell the castle and announce him. I don't know, maybe he has to do that or else he's going to get flogged, but it does kind of show some of these like lesser known, maybe things that aren't normally depicted in a movie. You get to see these play out on screen, and it's a really interesting fact, and it gives this whole thing a sense of realism. I guess maybe you could combine these 2 points to just say the sense of realism in this film. And the last thing I really loved is the action. This film has a lot of action, and the last thing I really loved is the action. This film does have action, although not as much as I thought. It has a lot of action at the start, and then a really gory, visceral end that's very exciting and very kind of what you would expect in the movie theater. The middle is there's less action and more kind of politics and intrigue. So I was expecting maybe a little more. The film's called Last Duel. I expected the duel to be a larger part of the overall film, but it seems like the movie is more about the build-up to the duel. But that being said, when you do get the action, it is very good. You get that, what you would expect in the movie theater. You get fast-paced action, you get bloody action, you get visceral action. It's very exciting and a good way to kind of cap this film. You start off with a bang and you end with a bang. And so despite the fact that there wasn't as much action as I was expecting, it is all very good. And so if that sounds interesting to you, I would definitely check out The Last Duel. It's only in theaters right now, so you can check it out in theaters starting October 15, 2021. Like I said, it's a really good film. It's very different, and it's just something that was kind of a fresh take, a fresh, refreshing film to see in theaters, and one that, like I said, you get your money's worth. It's 2.5 hours. So if you're going to go see it in theaters, you'll get more price per hour. So that's The Last Duel. Thanks for watching. If you liked this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. And please also check out the other things on this YouTube channel. I have other movie reviews, interviews, unboxing videos, and a weekly movie recommendation list that I publish every week to give just some suggestions in streaming, Redbox, and theaters. So thanks so much for watching, and take care.